When I heard this story at first, I was shocked. Now this is a story you definitely want to hear the end. In this life, not every sweet offer is a blessing. Some doors, once you open them, can never be closed again, because greed has a price, and sometimes that price can be your life.
If you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, please support us by hitting the subscribe button, like, share, and share your thoughts in the comment section below. Thanks.
Now, in the heart of a city in Lagos, there lived a young girl. Now we'll call this girl Tosin. Tosin was beautiful, the kind of beauty that would stop traffic. She had a curvy shape, a fine face, and a dangerous kind of confidence. Tosin had big dreams. She told herself that no matter what it took, she would succeed in life by any means necessary. She studied art at the University of Lagos, but the truth was, school didn't really interest her. To Tosin, education felt like a scam. She only showed up when absolutely necessary. Her real hustle was outside the school. Now, while her classmates were attending lectures, Tosin was on the streets doing escort work, hookup now, to maintain a lifestyle. Buying new phones, new clothes, the latest wigs. She lived like royalty on campus. However, after graduating with a third-class degree, which was very, very poor, she refused to go back to her parents in the village. So she lied to them. She told them she had secured a very good paying job at a museum in Lagos. Now her parents, on hearing this, were very, very happy and proud. But in reality, Tosin was struggling. She wasn't getting the kind of gigs she was getting in school. Her clients from school had all left her, and there was no job. She couldn't secure a good job with the kind of results and certificates she got. Now the only thing she found doing was selling alcohol on the streets. Now don't be mistaken, this is just a cover for a real job. Now every day under the hot Lagos sun, she would walk around selling drinks. Wherever she passed, men would stare, both young and old. Some were bold enough to call her. Even married men standing beside their wives wouldn't hide their interest. Now because of this, many wives would insult her. Some gave her deadly looks, but Tosin didn't care. She would smile sweetly and entertain the men. Later, some would secretly meet her and book hotel rooms. That's how Tosin survived. But deep inside her, she was actually tired. Tired of the small money, tired of the insults, tired of the struggle. However, one night, after finishing with one of her regular customers, Tosin said, "Baby, please, I need a better job. I am tired of doing street work. Now, the only difference between me and a prostitute is that mine happens during the day." Now, this man laughed and wiped his mouth. "Are you sure you can do anything?" he asked Tosin. "Anything that brings in better money, I can do it," Tosin replied quickly. He smiled. "I know someone who owns a nightclub. He's looking for a waitress. The pay is good. Can you handle it?" Tosin didn't hesitate. "Yes, of course, that's a small job," she said, her eyes full of hope. And just like that, she was introduced to a man. Let's call him Kelvin. The moment Tosin stepped into Kevin's club, she realized she had entered another world. It wasn't like the roadside bars she was used to. This was a place for rich people. Everything was shiny and luxurious. Lights, sound, women, it all screamed wealth. Now Kevin liked her instantly. He gave her the waitress job on the spot, but there was a condition. She had to dress sexy, short skirts, high heels, bare stomach, heavy makeups, those kind of things. Now Tosin didn't mind. She actually enjoyed the attention. The pay was far better than what she was getting on the street. Now, after 1 month, Tosin was fully settled in at the nightclub. She even knew all the VIP customers by their name. So one day, Kevin casually offered her a different job as a stripper, but Tosin actually refused. She said, "I don't know how to dance like that," she lied with a shy laugh. Now here's the real reason. She had already found a better hustle. It turns out that some of the VIP customers were secretly sleeping with her and paying her far more than her salary. So she made a decision. Why bother dancing when lying down made more money? So one evening, while she was doing her makeups in the dressing room, one of the strippers, let's call her Tina. So Tina walked in. "Tosin baby, I'm hearing about all your scores. You are the hottest girl in this club right now," Tina teased, winking. Tosin smiled and laughed. "It's not easy to be hot," she joked. As Tina was leaving, she paused at the door and said something that sent a small chill through Tosin's spine. "This job isn't about who is the hottest. Use your head. Don't burn yourself." She laughed and walked away. Tosin laughed too and waved it off. "Don't worry, I know what I am doing." She thought it was just a friendly advice. Now, 3 days later, Kelvin called her into his office. "Tosin, come to my office. I want to discuss something with you," he said seriously. So Tosin later went in. When she sat down, Kevin stared at her in silence for almost 3 minutes. The air felt tense. So he finally spoke. "Meet me at my house by 7 o'clock this evening. We'll talk properly there." Tosin confused, but she smiled to herself. She knew Kevin had been watching her for a while, so she thought today he wanted to make his move. And Tosin, she had her own plans. If she played her cards well, she could trap Kevin, maybe even marry him. No more stress, no more hustle. Now by 6 p.m. she had taken a bath, sprayed her best perfume and wore her finest clothes. By 7 p.m. sharp, she was at Kelvin's big estate, ringing the doorbell. When she entered, she almost gasped. The house looked like something from a movie. Golden walls, expensive furniture, a massive TV. Everything screamed wealth. Kevin came out looking relaxed. He offered her a drink and sat opposite her. So they chatted about the club, about life, about money. Then Kevin asked, "If I tell you that you can make a lot of money right now, will you do it?" Now Tosin nodded eagerly. "Yes, anything that will improve my life." So Kevin leaned closer to her. "Tell me, what is that one thing you wouldn't do for money?" So Tosin smiled proudly. "I can do anything except kill someone or kidnap anyone." So Kevin smiled. "Good," he said. "Follow me." So they both entered another room. There they saw a man seated, dressed in a sharp black suit. His face looked hard and serious. Kevin pointed to him. "Here is Mr. Bruce. He has an offer that will change your life forever." Tosin's heart began to race. "What offer?" she asked, trying not to sound too desperate, you understand. So Kevin cleared his throat. "So you will sleep with someone for 3 nights. Every night, 10 million naira will be sent to your account." Tosin almost screamed. "That means 30 million. Prior to this, the highest she had ever made in one night was 100,000. Now without thinking, she shouted, "I accept." Kelvin nodded. "Good, but you have to sign an agreement." Now Bruce, who had been silent, brought out a document. Without reading it, Tosin grabbed the pen and signed. In her mind, she laughed. Isn't it just to sleep with some rich old man or some rich old politician? Please, that's easy. So immediately, Bruce wired 15 million naira into her account as first deposits. On seeing this, Tosin nearly fainted with joy. Kelvin told her, "You will travel to the boy's house next week." So that night, when she got home, as she was about to enter her apartment, she saw a quit notice on her door. Her landlord had finally had enough. But this time, Tosin just smiled. She went in, transferred 2 million naira, and paid her 2 years' rent. She even bought herself a car, a new iPhone, and designer clothes. Now, before traveling to do what she was paid for, she decided to visit her parents in the village. She wanted to show them that their daughter had made it. So she arrived with a brand new car, expensive clothes, and confidence. On seeing her, her parents were overwhelmed with joy. They thought their daughter was truly blessed. But Tosin didn't know something. She had just signed her death warrant because the real job, the real assignment waiting for her was not what she was expecting. Now, after coming back from the village, Tosin packed her bags with excitement the moment the day of her trip finally arrived. She dressed in her finest clothes and even bought a brand new wig. To her, this deal was the golden opportunity she had been waiting for, the beginning of a new life, a better life. Now, when she arrived in Abuja, Bruce was already at the airport waiting for her. Without wasting time, he drove her straight to a massive mansion, the kind she had only ever seen in movies. Once they got in, Bruce showed her the room she would be staying in for the next 3 days. It was stunning, a large bed, elegant curtains, and a cold breeze from the air conditioner humming throughout the room. Tosin smiled to herself. Just for sleeping with a politician's son, she thought, this is heaven. Still, something didn't feel quite right in her heart. Why all this luxury for just a simple job? She wondered. But she quickly shook the thoughts off. Big money comes with big packaging, sha, she whispered and lay down on the soft bed. Now evening came. There was a knock at her door. It was Bruce. "Tosin," he said, "come with me. The boss's son is ready for you." Now with a faint smile and a most confident walk, Tosin followed Bruce down a long hallway into a larger room. As she stepped inside, she looked around. It was empty. Now confused, she asked Bruce, "Where is the politician's son I'm meant to sleep with?" Bruce didn't respond. He simply pointed at the king-sized bed. Now under the covers of this bed, something shifted. Tosin leaned forward thinking it was actually a man. But then the sheet slid down and staring back at her was a massive black bulldog. Tosin burst into laughter, thinking it was some kind of a joke. "Come on now, stop playing. Where is the real person?" she said, giggling nervously. But Bruce's face remained serious, completely expressionless. He pointed again. "That's Leo," he said, "the boss's son." Now it turns out that the politician's son that was promised wasn't actually a human. It was a bulldog. The smile immediately vanished from Tosin's face. Her legs trembled, her voice cracked. "God forbid, I can't do this. This is not what I signed up for." Well, Bruce calmly pulled out the agreement she had signed. He unfolded it and read it aloud. "To cancel this agreement, you must pay a penalty of 100 million per night." Tosin's mouth dropped open, meaning for the 3 nights, that would be 300 million. When she was given this contract to sign, due to the amount she had, she did not actually read through the agreement. Where could she possibly find that kind of money to settle? She collapsed on the floor, crying and begging, but Bruce remained unmoved. "Tosin," he said coldly, "you signed the deal, now finish it." Left with no choice, Tosin gave in. Tears streamed down her face as she endured the unthinkable for 3 long days. Now when it was all over, our remaining balance of 15 million naira was wired into our accounts, but no amount of money could erase the pain inside her. She was no longer the same person. Now when she returned to Lagos, she locked herself in her room for days. She barely ate, barely slept. Whenever she closed her eyes, she saw Leo's dark, haunting eyes. And a week later, Tosin became seriously ill. She forced herself to go to the hospital and several tests were conducted. When the doctor returned with the results, his face was grim. "Young lady, you have rabies," he said softly. She was stunned. But no dog bit me," she whispered. The doctor stared at her confused, waiting for a possible explanation to why she got rabies without any dog biting her. But Tosin couldn't speak. She knew what had happened. How could she possibly explain? She quickly got up and left quietly. Tears blurred her vision as she made her way to Kevin's house. She banged on the gate until the security guards opened. Now inside, she fell to her knees and poured out everything to Kelvin. "Kelvin," he only laughed, a cold mocking laugh. "Stop crying, Tosin," he said. "You think the big girls in Lagos don't do worse? Politicians want girls to entertain their pets. You are even lucky. Some girls sleep with pigs, tigers, even lions just for huge amounts of money." Tosin, hearing this, screamed in horror. "I have rabies," she shouted. On hearing this, Kevin's expression changed instantly. "What did he say?" He backed. I didn't treat it early. I was too broken." Kelvin sprang up to his feet and called the security. "Throw this lady outside," he commanded. Two guards dragged Tosin out like she was trash. She screamed his name, begged for help, but Kelvin never looked back. That night, Tosin's mother called her to check on her daughter. So she wiped her tears away and answered the call. "Mommy, I'm fine. Everything is okay," she lied, forcing a smile through the pain. But deep down, her soul was bleeding. Now days turned into weeks. The millions she had earned, they disappeared, spent on hospital treatment, injections, imported medicine. Everything she had was used up trying to stay alive. She had even sold her car, her wigs, her phones just to fund her treatment. Yet the illness only got worse. One day, the doctor called her into his office. "My dear," he said gently, "your condition is beyond treatment now. You need to prepare yourself. Death is unavoidable." Tosin broke down in the hospital hallway, crying uncontrollably. People stared, but no one came to comfort her. At this point, memories flashed through her mind. The excitement when she signed the deal, the shopping sprees, the fake smiles, the betrayal. Now, with no other hope, she reported the incident to the police. But when they asked her for proof, any voice recordings, any video, any copy of the contract she had signed, she answered no. She had nothing. Bruce had kept the original document to himself. Now she was trapped. A month later, Tosin could no longer walk. The illness had gotten worse. Sometimes she barked like a dog, her body twisted in pain, and then she died, alone and forgotten. Now, on hearing this, Kelvin quickly paid off the hospital. He made sure her body vanished, no burial, no funeral, so as to cancel out any trace that would lead back to him. Meanwhile, her parents in the village kept calling. Her phone remained off. They wept, they prayed, they waited, hoping their daughter would one day reply or call back. But Tosin was gone, forever. And Kelvin, he simply smiled and turned his focus to the next desperate girl. I hope you learned a huge lesson from the story.
For more interesting and amazing stories like this, Subscribe and turn on the notification bell, and thanks for watching. We love you.